Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. It has finally happened. Kits have arrived. So those of you in my Discord and Patreon will know and hopefully be playing along at home by buying these same kits. So first kit is the MDS-60 metal detector. Metal detector system perhaps. 60. Look at that. That's kind of cool really. 3 to 5 volts. So yeah, you can run this off batteries. Okay. So I've got all the parts assembled, just tipped out really. Now, I have to admit, there was a kit I filmed before this. I'm going to reveal it to you so that you know. It's one of these things that looks like this, and it's called an ICSK061A. And I couldn't get anywhere with it. You can see I just chucked it back in the bag in disgust and deleted the video. I literally have just deleted the video on this. And you can see it's all discombobulated because I've been trying to work out what's wrong with it. If you've bought that as part of the set, let me know if you've managed to get yours working, because I bloody well didn't. Right. I'm going to start with, I think, the little transistors, because they're ones... they're kind of easier to put now before we put anything on there. So this is the 9012, and I'm going to pop that in. And again, I'm almost hesitant to do this. I kind of want to check all the bloody components now, because you never know. You just spent ages putting these kits together, putting in Q3 by the way, which is another 9012. Only to find it doesn't work. You just don't know if it's one of these duff components, and it often has been for me, the duff components. So we do have the automatic tester. If you wanted to, you've got one at home, a bit more time, pop all the components in one of these and make sure it says, you know, what it is, to avoid disappointments. As I say, I'm really disappointed by wasting 2 hours on a kit that just didn't bloody seem to work. And the worst thing about it is, if you try to go on the internet for some resources, one, there isn't any. And the only resource I found were other people who couldn't get it working. So it's like, can they really be selling a kit that's not tested and just doesn't work globally? Possibly, who knows. Right, I've got my meter here by the way, and that's because I need to buzz out those resistors, because I can't remember the resistor colours for these through-hole parts. So I've gone quiet because I'm concentrating. So I do like to have the meter handy, and I'll just buzz them through. There's only a few. I was considering buzzing them out before the video, but then I thought, well, maybe some of you boys and girls at home get some use seeing how you do it. Right, almost there. Off to a flying start, I feel. Now, there is a little rheostat, or variable resistor. Can't remember what the difference is between a rheostat and a variable resistor. I think it's a rheostat if you wire it up to use all 3 legs basically. Let's chop that off, clean it up, chop it off, clean it up. So the video of the other kit, that would have been my very first kit on the back office board, the new reconditioned back office board, and it was a bloody failure. Just as well I'm not ticking the happy face and smiley faces, sad face things on my board anymore, because that would have definitely been a sad face. Right, let's get going with all the other bits. I think the capacitor's next. A 222, that must be a C3. What else have we got? A 104. 104. This just looks like just the right amount of parts on a kit really. Not too many, not too few. What's that one? Another 104. Right there. You kind of want enough to be enjoyable, but not too many. Bloody won't work when you're done with it. And then you go, oh, it doesn't work. It's not like a digital kit. Digital kits are different. You've got a really good chance of it working. Go. Oh, I'm really flying here. Long leg positive. Boom. You could even get the buzzer in at this point. Which end's positive? That's about the only thing I got working on the other one. I hot-wired the kit to make the buzzer buzz. And we'll leave off the resistors to the end. I think I can slip them in. Can you imagine? Look at that, all of these things. It would be so amazing to be able to get that to solder, and I'm wondering what I could use to literally hold all of those things while I'm doing it. Kind of a bit of foam. Oh, that's such a hard bit of foam. That will not do. That will not do, lad. So if you do have just the right amount of foam, I think you'd be able to just sandwich those in. What about me blue paper? So I'm going to try this. Wow. Problem is though, now your hand's consumed with the squeezing. Consumed with the squeezing. And I did see today something looked cool. You can get a soldering iron that actually has, believe it or not, a solder feeder on it, and that would really make life super easy for a lot of scenarios, wouldn't it? It wasn't particularly expensive. Am I actually winning? I mean, I'm only just doing tack solders, but it does seem like I am actually winning on this. I think. Let's try it. Ready? Nothing fell out. No way. Oh, okay. We had one electrolytic that tried to fall out, but it didn't actually fall out, which is kind of cool. Wow. Okay, that's a valid way of doing it. That's almost cheating, wasn't it? I remember, like back in there, you could buy something that was supposed to do this. I think it was like a bit of foam or soft foam, like you get in your lounge, and you just do exactly what I'd done, more or less. You just flip it over, and then it's in a little rack. But I think that works all right without any expense. Just checking my back office board. So far seems quite impervious to the heat. I'm sure a solder bead will try to etch its way in. Right, let's now settle down and do some proper soldering. We can zoom in and all enjoy. All enjoy the action of the tip. Nice. I'm going to give myself a little bit more heat. I suspect me tip could do with a tiny bit more heat. Nice. It's all go. So I was watching this Mars landing recently at the University of Oxford physics lab, and that was pretty damn entertaining, I have to say. It was very special. So thank you, Neil, Mr. Neil Bowles, who kind of responsible for it all there. And I'd never really experienced anything like it, and it's just a team. Imagine all these teams of people globally it takes to launch a rocket, make a satellite package, set up all of the equipment. It was crazy. And then so you spend like maybe a decade of your life or so working on it. You build the tool, you do all the science, you fire it off into space, and hopefully it'll land there okay. And basically there's a period of about 6 minutes, I think it was, from it kind of hitting into orbit and then landing, crash landing on the planet. And that was a very exciting 6 minutes, I have to say. And there was a lot of exciting choreography has to go on. There's stuff it has to do kind of en route, I guess, and there's stuff just before landing, and then all of these things just start whirring away. All the robots, basically, because this thing's a big robot, start working together, and the whole thing just bloody works. It's just phenomenal, really. I could see on the feed from NASA a lot of the United States team were doing a lot of dancing around, because we don't do that sort of thing in the UK. Maybe a little handshake and say well done, well done, well done. But I could see that there's certainly some emotion in that room, and no doubt those people have put so much effort into it, and they're finally got the chance to get their science back. Well, their science going on, I guess. And what was cool, it sent a photo right away back, even though it had its kind of lens cap thing on it. You could see it was awesome. Right, 3 resistors, that's all we've got. And I've got my meter out to show you what to do. Get your meter, put it into the ohms range if you've got an auto ranging like this, or clicky clack the rotary dial round. And then just hold your component into the probes, and then like here you'll see it's 1.972k, and I'm going to look for a 2k hole, and there is a 2k hole, R2 here. So yeah, it kind of makes me miss not being, makes me miss being in a uni, I guess that's the right way of phrasing that, because yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some science, going back to doing science, because we've got science to be done, and we made a great gun for the people who are still alive. Do, 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 do. So that's the first resistor. Next. So I'm just going to check. We have a 200k. That one could be the 200k potentially. If this one, what would this one be? A 470. Yeah, close enough. So the 470 goes in position R3. Hey, R2. R2. Get in there. So they're going to be measuring seismic activity. That's what InSight does. It's got a lot of probe action going on. So when it lands, a little robot arm is going to deploy these sensors off the robot itself, because the robot is, or lander, whatever you want to call it, basically is a robot. Because it's got big shock absorbing feet, and if you've got a seismograph, it's not good to mount them on shock absorbers. Who would have known? So the robot arm will deploy these instruments onto the planet, and they will measure a lot of stuff. You can tell a lot of stuff apparently from a seismograph, especially ones this sensitive. You know, you'll be able to practically tell the weather, just the winds blowing on top of the bloody thing, which is kind of groovy. And then you'll be able to tell kind of the shape of the planet, if it's got a weird wobble or something, and you can tell what it's made of. Apparently there's loads of, like, you know, you get Mars quakes, little earthquakes, or big earthquakes. I suppose, who knows what scale the earthquake is. And from that, once one of those occurs, you get a kind of vibration wave going around the planet. And then if you can read that, you can determine all sorts of things, like characteristics, like what the materials are. So I'm just attaching some probes now, and I'm trying not to break these ones, because I only just made them. Ugh. Just don't over crank them, it should be alright. Delicate probes. Ugh. Hoo-hoo! Hoo-ha! There we go, that's it. We are ready. We are ready for maximum metal detectatoring. Power's on just under 5 volts. Ready? Woohoo! So that's an on-off switch. There we go. So we've got a sensitivity knob here and an on-off switch there, basically. And there's an LED, which is kind of cool. So maybe if you wanted to, you could sort of wire it up with something over that. Sometimes if you don't like the sound of that, you could leave that little sticky label back on it, or pop one on. So I think the trick is to, though, you saw that range, it's basically super sensitive. So You've got like 1 millimeter of action here. Oh, no. Yeah, it was off, that's why. So you can determine how much you can tolerate. Reminds me a lot of like those satellite finders. Exactly the same buzzers in those bloody things. Ooh, it's just off the oscillate there. Come on. And you've got to remember, transistors do behave differently at different temperatures, so it might go out. But I think, what's that giving us then? It's about a centimetre. That's kind of neat though, isn't it? I think this would be nice in a little 3D printed enclosure with the battery on here. In fact, it's not too dissimilar from something I have got sitting on the shelf. I don't know why I bought this. It was sort of like an Alibaba thing, and I was making an order for something else, but it had this thing in it. I don't think it's got batteries on it, or it's rechargeable or something. But yeah, maybe one day we'll do a teardown lab of this thing. But I kind of think you could maybe make a mini version by giving it a little handle, and then you've got your own little metal detector. I kind of wonder... I wonder how sensitive it needs to be, really. If it depends. I kind of think if it's something like you want to detect a nail in a wall, you probably want it really specific, don't you? You don't want it to detect a massive range. This one will only detect, you know, small amounts. Oh, it's gone out of tune. So what I'm going to do though, I'm going to hide something under the mat. You can't see where. And then let's see if we can find it. Like a Where's Wally. We'll move all the metal objects out, and I'm going to adjust this down. Right, are we ready? Where are you? Hide my drugs. Okay. Not particularly very good. Power wire fell off while I was doing that, but I think it was powered. It would be nice if you're doing this at home. Why don't you modify it so that you've got yourself an additional LED, because that could be cute. Right, so that didn't pick up something that I've secreted under the mat, so I'm going to turn it up a bit. Let it have a little bit of a whine. There you go. Well, I've got an object here, basically. So it seems you need to have something really like big and ferrous. I'm trying, like a what? A car bloody brake drum? So I don't know what you want to use it for. It seems to me though, genuinely, it doesn't have an output apart from the audible output, but if you were going to do something with this, what you could probably do, there's a couple of things. First thing is, you could probably replace that with a transistor output or a MOSFET or a relay. And then you could have it as something like that if you open a door and the door opens to a certain point where the handle is like nearly touching the wall, it will turn on a magnet that keeps the door open. How about that? But there you have it. That is the MDS-60 kit by EQ Kit, and it's pretty cool. All in all, pretty cool. It went together okay. It wasn't any trouble at all. Go ahead, comment down below and let me know how you've made one and tuned it up to be extra sensitive like me. As ever, thanks for watching.